Joel, so we have already learned about complementary and supplementary angles, but I want to review it for this next unit as we're working on angle relationships. So this part of our standards to make sure you have a clear and complete understanding of complementary and supplementary. Anyways, so we're gonna go ahead and keep going. Let me know if you have any questions. So just as review of supplementary angles, they add up to 180 degrees. And so you can have adjacent and supplementary angles where it's all on one line, or you can also have supplementary angles but not adjacent. So kind of make sure you have a clear understanding of that as well. Complementary angles are when you have two angles that add up to 90 degrees, and you can also have adjacent complementary and then complementary angles that are not adjacent as well. And so if we're looking at this here, so remember two angles are supplementary if the sum of their measure is 180 degrees. Each angle is the supplement of each other. So we can have something like this where 20 and 160 will equal 180, or you can have the adjacents. So these are supplementary because they do in fact add up to 180. And so 3 steps of finding missing angles. So first create an addition equation by adding both angles. The sum of the two angles will equal 90 degrees if it's complementary and 180 if it's supplementary. And then you'll solve for the equation union inverse rule. So kind of doing linear equations. Distributive property, combine like terms, isolate that variable to find our missing x and y. And so this is if you were in class anyways. So our first example here is you might get something like this. This is an easier side where you just do x plus 20 equals 180, and then you subtract 20 on both sides to know that x equals 60 or 160. But then we can go a little bit more extreme and keep kind of building on more difficult problems. But let's look at complementary. Complementary angles add up to 90 degrees. We know that these two angles are complementary because they do in fact add up to 90 degrees. And again, we have something kind of simple, right? X plus 15 equals 90. Subtract 15, you get 75. But know that we could possibly get more extreme questions, something like this, where you have multiple angles, multiple lines, multiple rays. Are angles 4 and 5 supplementary angles? Our answer would be no. Are angles 2 and 3 complementary angles? I'm hoping you are also thinking no. Are angles 4 and 3 supplementary? The answer is yes. Are angles 2 and 1 complementary? The answer is yes. And so this is a perfect example of a type of problem we're going to see in the future, okay? But we still know that 4x plus 3 plus x minus 8 will equal 90. And then we're kind of just working through the linear equation process. Combine like terms, 4x plus x is 5x, 3 minus 8 is negative 5. Add 5 on both sides, get 95, divide by 5, and x will equal 19. But if I'm looking for a specific angle, know that we would have to plug 19 back in for x and solve, depending on if I'm looking for, a specific location of that angle. And so we also could have something like this, 7x plus 10 plus 3x will equal 180. And again, we just go through that linear equations process, combine like terms, isolate that variable. And so let's keep going on some practicing identifying linear or supplementary and complementary angles. Are angles 1 and 2 linear pair? So if you don't remember what linear pair are, this is exactly why I want to review it with you. They are not linear pairs, right? Linear pairs are when they are kind of lined up on the same line, the same location. Are 1 and 3 adjacent angles? They are not. Are 3 and 4 linear pairs? The answer is yes, right? They line up on that same line. So they're linear pairs. Are 2 and 3 adjacent angles? They are yes, right? They share a ray and they're adjacent to each other. Kind of like how I was showing you examples of complementary and supplementary adjacent angles. We could continue this process, right? We could find all these missing angles by going through our process of linear pairs, supplementary, complementary angles, adding up to 180, 90 degrees. And I'll kind of go through these. I don't want to necessarily practice these. That's for in class, but you can go ahead and start the activity. You should fly through this pretty quickly, and so we'll move on tomorrow, but I wanted to review complementary and supplementary angles. So let me know if you have any questions, and go ahead and start the activity. All right, bye, Joel.